Hey all, Carpetbagger here, and I am over here in Asheville, North Carolina. About a month ago, after Hurricane Helene had hit the area, I had come over here, once the city had opened up a little more to kind of show some of the damage that occurred during the hurricane. And the town was devastated, especially where I am right now, which is Biltmore Village, kind of the heart of the city. It's where the Biltmore House, which is the top tourist attraction in Asheville, is located. And when I came over here, it was absolutely devastated, just absolutely devastated. This part of Asheville was almost wiped out. I will leave a link in the description of that video that I did previously when I showed a month ago the effects of the hurricane, and I wanted to come back and kind of do an update to that video, kind of show where Asheville is right now. I did want to give a disclaimer that this probably the parts I'll be showing are probably the more devastated parts. There is a lot of Asheville that is open, and this part of the country relies very heavily on tourism. This hurricane hit right before the leaf season, where the leaves change, which is the most busiest tourist time of the year. So in addition to being devastated by this hurricane, this area lost out on its the season that brings it its most income. So I would definitely encourage people to come to Asheville, come to Western North Carolina. Again, a lot of small towns in the area also devastated. We're open here. We're open. Not everything is open. So just if you do come to the area, which I highly recommend, it's beautiful here. Just do some research first. Make sure what you want to do is open. Just do a little bit of research. What is open. I'm sure that they would love to have you visit. Just of course, just be aware. They are struggling. I know some of the restaurants had issues with water and being able to use water, so there may be limited menus, things like that. But man, this town could definitely use a break right now. But let's go take a look at the town of Asheville. Again, if you want to see what it was like a month ago, please click the link in the description. That video will take you back to a month ago when I first showed this area, and I will give you guys an update. And yes, it is still in very, very rough shape down here in Biltmore Village. This is the Wendy's that was destroyed during the hurricane. And you're going to see a lot of mud still laying around. See here some of the original layer of mud over here. It's like still wet and slimy. And then just the piles of mud that they've pushed out of the parking lots to allow people access. The Wendy's here, it does look like maybe some cleanup has taken place. You see some things pulled out in the back here. This is the where you go to the drive-through, where it shows you the clearance of the drive-through. Then over here would be the menu that you order. Oh yeah, they don't have the menu up. This is the speaker. You see in the dining room here. Yeah, last time we went by, it was full of mud, and it still is. There's not been really much attempt to salvage anything inside the Wendy's. You can see there's still debris everywhere. You can see debris hanging from the trees. You got to remember the water from the river went over 20 feet higher than it is supposed to. Yeah, still see clearly where the river ran through. Went over the river and just through this area. You can just see the flow of the river. Oh, it bends that tree over. With these dumpsters here, you can see they have been probably doing some cleaning out of the river. The river just absolutely full of debris. Yeah, if you watch the last video, you can see the water's actually gone down. It was much higher when we came here after the hurricane. You just see like hanging in the trees, all the debris, all the broken down trees here. Yeah, still a lot of stuff in the river here, a lot of debris, and that van is still there that was last time, nose down in the river. Yeah, one reason I wanted to come over here and do this video is because I just feel like when tragedies happen, it's just really easy to forget. It's in the news when it first happens. Then the news cycle moves on. Of course, there was the election that took up a lot of the news cycle, and when the rest of the country kind of forgets, the people left behind are still there picking it up. I know it happened after Hurricane Katrina, where one of their things that they were saying, talking to people in New Orleans, they were saying, that as soon as it left the news cycle, then everything dried up, the donations, things like that. You can see just around me, this area is still hurting. This area is still absolutely devastated. They are still just digging out after over a month. They have cleared up a lot of the mud. A lot of these areas down here where you couldn't even approach them last time because of the layer of mud. You could see the Jimmy Johns over here. Looks like, yeah, I don't know if much is left here. Okay, it looks like, yeah, they've stripped the inside here. And that's, I think, as far as they've gotten with these buildings. So the most they can do now is just clear them out for the future. We do have some construction perimeters set up here while they work on the buildings. I'm not sure what was right here, but there was an entire building that's been torn down just except for that one wall. See, the Ruth Chris Steakhouse over here is actually open, at least for takeout, as the dining room is not open yet. But I think that is the first restaurant as you're coming through Biltmore Village. I did not see any other restaurants or businesses open that way until the other side of Biltmore Village. So I think this is kind of the perimeter here where I guess this was able to reopen. The historic church here, the Cathedral of All Souls, it appears undamaged from the outside, but it looks like it is closed for the time being. So there could be large amounts of damage on the inside. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. BP gas station. Looks like they've done some cleanup here, and they got the perimeter set up. So I don't know, maybe doing some work to get this back open. I don't know. Well, again, most of these just have to wait and see. It looks like they're still trying to clean up. The point of thinking about actually opening back up is not appear to be any time in the immediate future. There's a lot of cars parked here in the parking lot of the Fancy Hardee's. It looks like it may be a meeting point for people that are working on the recovery. I don't know if I don't think they're necessarily all here to just fix the Hardee's. Yeah, you can see in the window over here, the inside of the Hardee's is completely upended, and you can see the water line. That water line is inside the building, not on the outside. So that's how high it actually filled up in the dining room, just above everything, just above, like if you were in there, you would be underwater. Crazy. It's the Grand Bohemian here, a big fancy hotel right in the middle of Biltmore Village. They do seem to be doing a lot of work there, still pumping, cleaning things out from the inside. I do remember when I came by here at first, my first trip, I didn't film it, but you could see the workers taking out the antiques and taxidermy and like delicately putting it in boxes to try to salvage it. And this was the Biltmore Village Starbucks that is actually completely gone. They have demolished the Starbucks. Right after the hurricane, they put up this barbed wire fence around it, and then I guess they just went ahead and demolished the building, and it is gone. So here's a glimmer of hope. See, they're changing the sign right now as we speak for the Biltmore House, putting up their Christmas decorations here, which surprised me. And then I actually just checked online, and the Biltmore House is open, which is absolutely shocks me, having seen it a month ago and how the entrance looked. So wow, this is the fastest area of recovery I've seen so far today. A month ago, this was just carnage down here. The way they've cleaned out, the way they've rebuilt is pretty remarkable. The road was just completely impassable to the house. See the gatehouse up there, but looks like people are we're headed into the Biltmore House today. So I guess if you were putting off that trip to Asheville, why not come see the Biltmore House and help bring some tourist dollars to the area. This looks very different though. I guess I'm just trying to pick in my mind and think about like what this used to look like. I think there used to be a lot of trees in this area. All the trees are gone. Yeah, you can see them redoing the landscaping here. I'm so happy that they were able to get back open, because obviously the Biltmore House is just a huge part of the community, bringing in those tourist dollars. It's really great to see. Doing some repairs here on the gatehouse shop, like a little gift shop outside of the property. But yeah, see people heading in to the Biltmore House. Yeah, I'm tempted to go ahead and go into the Biltmore House. I think I'll put that off. Hopefully I can come back here and visit the Biltmore House pretty soon. It's actually been quite a while since I've walked through the house, so probably definitely going to come back here and check it out. Again, it's great to see people passing through the gates of the gatehouse here. Things look a little different. This was kind of like a wooded area before. Kind of makes the gatehouse just kind of stand out. There's no trees around it, but yeah, happy to see it open, no doubt. Oh yeah, you can actually see here they've got their Christmas lights up on the building. The world's fanciest McDonald's, however, is not looking good at all. Yeah, I can see the sign here that's busted out. And again, this McDonald's was considered the world's fanciest. It was across from the Biltmore House, so they upscaled everything. They had a player piano inside. They had a fireplace, and you see the design outside different than a standard McDonald's. This still appears to be in pretty rough shape. You can see where furniture's all bunched up here in the corner, being pushed by the water. Oh man, that's like a refrigerator or a stove or something, like crammed up, stuck in between the wall there. There's the old drive-through. So just crammed back in there with stuff. Here's where you'd pay the first window. Oh wow. Yeah, you can see the cash register in there. Cash register's full of mud. Ooh, and it does not smell good in there. The mud, when the mud sits, it smells very, very bad. You see down here, under the drive-through, where the mud is washed away, actually under the road, that's incredibly dangerous, because there's essentially nothing holding up the road at that point, or the parking lot. It's tipped over semi-trailer. And this cargo container here pushed into the side, some sort of electric pole. My. Oh, there is a sign that says Carolina Demolition there on the side. I don't know if that means it is slated to be demolished, or if, you know, they're just here to clean up. But you can peek in there and see what remains of the world's fanciest McDonald's. Just the sheer amount of downed trees in and of itself is unbelievable. I didn't notice this last time we were here, probably because you couldn't even get back to this area. But there is a bunch of cargo containers under the bridge there. You can see this one here. Just look at the, just wrap your head around this for a second. This solid steel cargo container bent in half. That is the power of water there. Actually bent in half right there. Yeah, under this bridge you see these cargo containers wedged there. And I guess it's very fortunate that these giant pieces of metal being pushed by water, just think of that. There's water that moved these. And it's good that they didn't damage the bridge in a way to make it impassable. Looks like it may have came pretty close. Oh, and this overturned trailer here is full of just giant bags of packing peanuts for whatever reason. Yeah, here's a spot I wasn't that hopeful for. The Moe's Southwest Grill, as you can see, building just absolutely smashed. This is probably going to end up being demolished. You can see the demolition company. Again, I'm not sure if that means 100% the building is going to be demolished, or if they're just, come to strip it. But I would say this building probably does not have a lot of structural integrity. You can see one of the pillars here completely knocked out. So yeah, probably very little chance that Moe's is coming back, at least in this location. They may demolish this location and rebuild, but yeah. Oh yeah, the irony here is that there was already posters up for a remodel. They're talking about changing the building. That Mother Nature came first and changed the building in a not so great way. Back over the bridge here, the river. You just see, still just a lot of debris left over here on the bridge and in the river. See something dangling there. And right next to Moe's is another building that probably there isn't a lot of hope for. This is Osaka Japanese Cuisine, which got hit very hard by the flood. You can see it just pushed this entire wall of debris and wood, trees, and pieces of houses right into the front of the restaurant. It does look like they may have done a little bit to try to clean some out, but yeah, you can just look in there. It's just like a cavern of debris. And you see the same Carolina demolition sticker on the building here. This would have been the drive-through. And see the menu. Dang. Oh, and that's just a piece of a U-Haul truck. Who knows where that even came from? Over here is just another wall of debris. I don't know. It looks like there's part of a building here. Could be a home. Could be another business. But just a pile of debris. Probably, part of another structure slams into here. And that's just left. I couldn't even get up here last time to Long John Silver's. And again, like most of the other restaurants in this area, just the entire dining room appears to be upended. And look at this, you can see the water line up there. Like, I can't even reach that with my hand. And what's crazy about that, the water line all the way up there, and we are actually on a hill. We're on top of a hill. The river's down there. So just to think that this got this high up on a hill overlooking the river, it's just unbelievable how high the flooding was here. Look in this window, kind of see the devastation there inside the Long John Silver. They have like these retro seats. The City Stop gas station is still closed, although it does look like there are people inside, maybe working on getting it reopened. And over here there's a Precision Auto Care Precision Tune Auto Care. They appear to be open, working. So I would say Biltmore Village, if you're familiar with Biltmore Village, from there, Precision Tune Auto Care is the business open on this end. And unless I missed some, unless I didn't see any, the Ruth Chris down there is the first business that is open as you travel that way. I don't want to say that for certain because there could be a business open around there, and I definitely don't want to say someone's closed when they're not. But for the most part, that's just eyeballing it. That is what I'm gathering. Coming down this way here, looks like this building is actually cleaned out pretty good, but it actually belongs to a construction company, so they definitely would have had the manpower to get it cleaned up. This FedEx office was hit pretty bad, but it looks like they completely cleaned it out. You can see here, I got a demonstration where the ceiling actually collapsed because the water raised above the ceiling level. I still see some cars just that were scattered about during the floodings. I guess probably whoever owns this car probably doesn't even have the means to repair it because of all the mud and everything inside, so it just kind of sits here unclaimed. Now, the river is just so much lower than it was a month ago, for obvious reasons, just coming off the hurricane. It's just crazy to think how this little, almost looks like a quaint little creek right now, how this river could cause so much damage, so much loss of property and life. And look at over there. There is a boat tipped over on its side. I don't know if there was a boat just sitting there, if that boat was washed by the floodwaters and just deposited in this parking lot. Gosh, yeah, just along the river here is absolute ground zero for the floodings. This road is closed down, so there's no cars on it. It's just eerily quiet out here. Oh, look at that. It's a little saloon there made out of a cargo container. I'm not sure what this building was. I just tried to look it up on Google Maps and could not get a good answer on what this was. If you do know what this was, leave a comment in the comment section. But oh my gosh, look at this this vehicle here, or what's left of it. You can see the top of the vehicle ripped open. The just unbelievable power of water just does not fail to blow me away. This building here, I don't know if this was a business or just someone's garage. You look in there, you can see some motorcycles. One's actually hanging up there. And this is really sad over here. This is the old antique tobacco barn. It was a massive antique mall. It's actually kind of a major landmark tourist attraction for the area, and it is done. It is, you can still see there's still a roof standing, but everything inside was cleaned out. So that just would have been full of priceless antiques when the waters hit, and now just completely emptied out. Probably the vast majority of everything in there completely ruined. So the Biltmore Village looks pretty rough still, with a few glimmers of hope, including the fact that the Biltmore House is back open, which is very encouraging for the area. I did want to travel over to a different part of Asheville, the River Arts District. Last time I came over here, they weren't even letting people go back in there unless you like owned a business or something. So I'm gonna try to drive over there, see if that's open, and maybe get a look at what the hurricane damage was in that part of the city. So predictably, things not looking good down here in the River Arts District. See, this is a art gallery here, the Marquee. Oh yeah, you can see the inside's been completely emptied out. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of art studios back in this area. There's a skate park back here. This actually looks relatively undamaged. Yeah, I guess the skate park held up. These buildings were not as fortunate. I didn't know this was back here. There is a type of shoe tree, a man-made shoe tree, this electrical pole, the shoes thrown on it. Huh. Don't know how long this has been here. I don't know if this has happened before the flooding or after the flooding, but yeah, you can see lots and lots of shoes hanging from those lines. You got a lot of devastation over here. Look at this, at the top of this pile of rubble, this pile of cinder blocks that was likely someone's building or studio. See a clown there at the top holding the word hope. This is hope even when the creek rises. Asheville is a city that's defined by its art community. And you see all these art studios back here destroyed. All the wreckage here that was people's creativity and art destroyed. It's very, very heartbreaking to see this. You can see some of the individual pieces of art, the paintings and photographs here destroyed by the flood. The table with some art supplies here. I don't know if there's what they're trying to dig out of the wreckage. This giant studio here. See the piles out front. See debris from the buildings. Yeah, still pieces of art mixed in with the debris. Sign up here says, the deep compassion and strength shown by Asheville. I'm so very proud to call you not a neighbor, but family. It's the hearts. It's a street light. You can see how the sidewalk literally collapsed. The water washed the soil out from under the sidewalk and it just collapsed. Yeah, just so much over here is gone. There's like entire factory buildings. They're just wiped out. See this building here has had a semi-trailer smashed into it. I remember this building with a very distinct graffiti. Yeah, there's the Homer Simpson Bender mashup. It looks like this fence was probably up before the hurricane. And the Floodwaters just pushed it over. The one business I definitely wanted to check on was 12 Bones, one of my favorite barbecue restaurants, my favorite rib place in the world. And obviously, it's not great. The building's still standing, which I guess that is encouraging, but yeah, obviously a lot of mud and water damage. It looks like the inside, yeah, again, just full of mud being cleaned out. Yeah, I almost didn't recognize where I was at, because normally there's like a building along here that has all this graffiti on it, and that is gone. A big building here. You can see just over this area, over that area, a big wall of graffiti. That's just gone. Now this is Depot Street here. Remember, I was able to actually drive down this street last time, and I remember just so much mud. So much mud. These buildings are just piles of mud pushed up in front of these buildings. There's still a lot of mud here. You can see they're taking donations here to help rebuild the area. One thing I have noticed as I've been walking around today is there's clouds of dust everywhere in the air. I've had to drink lots of water because my mouth keeps getting really dry from all the dust. So as the mud dries, it turns into dust and it gets blown around by the wind, and you breathe it in, and God knows you don't want to be breathing it in, because they've already, this area, like literally this area here was they said there were signs that the mud was toxic. So now the mud is drying. I'm not a scientist, but the mud is drying. It is turning to dust, blowing in the air. People are breathing it in. Probably not good for their health. But I do want to say they've cleaned up this area as much as there is. You know, obviously a lot of mud and dirt still left. There was like cars buried in mud. It looks like they've dug out pretty well. Done a good job getting rid of the mud. Yeah, mud everywhere down here. So hopefully they are able to rebuild, because yeah, it was so rough down here with the mud deposits. Yeah, and you can just see as we're walking, just all the dry dirt, the dry dust. This is just everywhere in the entire city. Anywhere that was affected by the flooding is now just covered in the dirt. You can see it blowing through the air right now. Oh yeah, look at this tunnel here. Part of it's still clogged up. This is White Duck Taco. This is a little taco place that me and Jen liked. Just ate here a couple months ago. It was in this beautiful area by the river. You can see everything's just been torn up now. And the building itself, yeah, just gone. See the white duck up there. And some of the murals on the inside are preserved, but everything else cleared out. Yeah, down by here by the river is absolutely heart-wrenching. Of course, Biltmore Village, just devastating because of how iconic it is, how historic it is. But down by the river here, there's just hundreds of businesses that are just gone. Of course, we'd like to see them come back. Definitely rooting for them to come back, but they're not all coming back. They're not all gonna be back. Yeah, the power of nature, the power of water, the power of this river can just be absolutely devastating. So that is Asheville, a month after Hurricane Helene. The entire area, entire western North Carolina felt the damage from this hurricane. You know, Asheville is a very populated area. Obviously, kind of got, you know, some of the worst of the hurricane. Of course, other parts of the country affected by the same hurricane. You know, East Tennessee down to, you know, all the way, you try to track the hurricane all the way back down to Florida, you know, where it originally hit. And wow, it's, you know, you see people on TV with tragedy, see people on the news with tragedy, and it hurts your heart, it devastates you, but you don't, it's hard to feel how real that is until you see how it's affected, you know, your communities, the communities around you. I was very fortunate in this hurricane that, you know, my livelihood, my home wasn't damaged, my family was all safe, but, you know, a lot of people weren't so lucky. And just for me, just going to these places, you know, these places I like to eat that are just gone, it's strange. It's a strange, this city that, you know, I went over to regularly, you know, traversed over here. You know, I've lived in the mountains since I think 2000, and so yeah, 24 years here in the mountains. I've been, you know, nearby Asheville, you know, go watch movies, go eat meals there on a regular basis. So it's just crazy seeing it in the state it is. But more so than that, my heart just goes out for, you know, the people we saw today that had their businesses, their homes destroyed, the artists that had their life work devastated in the River Arch district, and yeah, just along here the river, you just see stuff is gone. And I'm showing you damage from the hurricane. It's hard to show you stuff that's just gone. Like, there is empty lots, there's stuff that's just been plowed down and gone. It's so devastating. And like I said, it's so easy to not think of it. If you're not here, you're not experiencing it, you're not seeing it, you know, your mind goes on to other things. There's a lot of things happening in the world. It's understandable. I'm not angry that people, you know, it passes people's mind. But just a reminder, you know, people are still suffering, people are still hurting, people are still needing in this area. Obviously, you see a lot of stuff for the communities pulling together to do amazing things, get stuff back up and running. You just see, like in the art district, you could just hear like brooms, like sweeping, like people just doing their small part, you know, trying to get some of the dirt out of there, trying to get some of the mud out of there, to just put that hard work in to try to build your livelihood back up to what it was. I can't even imagine what these people are going through. I got dirt in my eye, got dirt all over me, just from walking around today. The dirt, I feel filthy, the dirt in the air blowing around. And yeah, people are working in this. Most people working were wearing masks and stuff to protect their lungs, but just to see this city turned into what honestly it looks like post-apocalyptic. You know, you watch The Walking Dead or The Last of Us, that's what it feels like being here. You know, just a shell of what it was before. I encourage people to, you know, they had to, you know, it was a difficult decision, but they had to close down not only Asheville, but, you know, local cities. You know, no tourists, they just couldn't deal with it. You know, especially in October, which is the busy season. So, you know, even the businesses that weren't affected by the hurricane were, you know, economically devastated by the loss of the 2024 tourist season. I would say if you were planning on making a trip, if you're planning on coming out here, please come out here. There's stuff to do. The Biltmore House is open. You know, fortunately the leaves were beautiful. The leaves were starting to not be quite as beautiful, but they were beautiful during October here. There's just no one around to see them. The weather's nice. It's about 80 degrees today. A lot of the restaurants are open. Just if you do visit the area, please be courteous. Please understand that people are struggling. Businesses may be offering limited menus, limited services. So please be respectful of that, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to come here and spend money, because the people sure would appreciate it. And come to the Biltmore House. I think I'm gonna head over to the Biltmore House some point during the Christmas season, and they always do have some nice displays for Christmas. And it's been years since I've been there, so I think it is about time to revisit the Biltmore House. Yeah, as far as like money and donations, like obviously I hit a nerve with some people when I started talking about different charities, so I'm not gonna recommend any charities in particular. I would say pick a charity that reflects your values, reflects what you want to do with your money, and use third-party websites to rate the charities, and and find out what they're really about. You can do some research and find out. Other sites will rate charities on how much money goes to the public. Do remember though, like, charities need money to run. So a lot of people get mad, well, why isn't my money going directly to the people? Because charities have to pay people. They have to pay people to run the charities. They have to pay people to go out and do the charitable work. It is a job. It is a job to do good things. Unfortunately, people that do bad things in this country sometimes get paid more than the people that do good things. So remember, if you're giving to a charity, you do have to pay the overhead of the charity helping out people. And I'm just going to throw this right out there, because some people seem very confused. FEMA is not a charity. FEMA does not accept donations. FEMA is a government agency that helps in disasters. A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about FEMA. I've talked to people here that had a lot of very nice things to say about FEMA and how they've helped them during this hurricane. So, I don't know, maybe periodically I will come back over here and just show you guys kind of what the process is. Kind of remind everyone that it's still, the tragedy is still going on. Just, I hope I raise a little bit of awareness here on how much the area is still hurting, and but at the same time, how the area is pulling together, how stuff is getting back open. Some stuff will never be back open, but some stuff is actually back open. So feel free to spend those hard-earned tourist dollars here in the western North Carolina mountains. I travel all over the country. I spend my tourist dollars at all sorts of places. I'll be spending my tourist dollars here as well. Thank you guys so much for following along with this. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the kind words that I've got with the past videos. And until next time, this one's in the bag.